Samantha Scheibe and her mother, Hope Mason, described George Zimmerman as alone, depressed, and fascinated by guns. Scheibe says she feared him, but she stayed with him because she thought she could help him. She reached out to me about doing an interview 3 weeks ago. That's when she says she and George had an argument over her demand that he get professional help for his depression.
George Zimmerman's girlfriend described him as depressed and fascinated by guns, but the man who shot Trayvon Martin and was found not guilty of murder has his defenders. One of them joins me now. Frank Taaffe is a former neighbour of Zimmerman's. He's also a former Neighbourhood Watch block captain. Welcome to you, Mr. Taaffe. What is your reaction to this latest incident involving your friend George Zimmerman, given it's now the 4th time, I think, that he's been involved in such a clash with the police?
Well, Piers, in my honest opinion, and I'm not a medical doctor, but I believe that George is suffering from untreated post-traumatic stress disorder. And I based it upon, you know, some of the criteria that I read in the DSM-4, which is now the 5. One of the guests on another show is on, corrected me on that, and it's really no different in the version. But, you know, it has a manifestation. You know, first of all, George is a spiritual and a very religious person. He comes from a very religious family where, you know, they believe in the 10 Commandments, and one of the commandments is thou shalt not kill. Even though the act itself was deemed self-defense and he was acquitted of the charges of second-degree murder, but, you know, we as human beings, you know, we have those suppressed feelings, and I believe that this is just a manifestation of that PTSD, which I believe right now needs to be treated. And
right, but if he's suffering from all this, what is he doing in a house full of guns? AR-15, shotguns, handguns. I mean, surely it's an absolute recipe for potential disaster all over again.
Well, boys will have their toys, as they say, but, you know, he has always been around.
Whoa.
He's always been around weaponry.
Wait a
He's
minute.
always had guns.
Wait a minute. Boys will have their toys? Is that really what you just said?
Yeah, it's not unusual.
George Zimmerman, who shot dead an unarmed teenager and got off a murder rap, you're saying he should keep the guns despite his apparent trauma over the whole thing because boys want their toys?
Piers, let's review this, okay? He was acquitted of all charges.
Why don't you review what you just said and think very carefully about what you just said,
I just did.
Boys and their toys?
It's a hobby. People have hobbies and toys. He is not in any violation of any law.
Mr. Taaffe, guns are not toys.
It's a cliche, Piers. It's a cliche, okay?
It's not
an
a
old
cliche.
slogan.
It's not an old slogan. Guns are not toys. AR-15s are not toys.
I understand how grave the situation was, okay?
But why do you trivialize it by describing guns as toys?
It's not trivialized. It's just a cliche, Piers. Roll with it, okay?
How would you feel if Trayvon Martin's parents are watching this very show tonight, as they may well be, and they hear you as George Zimmerman's good friend apparently defending him by saying boys need to use their toys?
A Second Amendment right to carry any amount of weaponry he wants. He has not been convicted of any charges. And you can have as many weapons as you want.
Even though you yourself...
Even though. It has nothing to do with even though.
It does actually, sir. With respect. With respect, the facts are what you have told me.
You want to hear the facts?
I'm just asking you this. Assuming that you know George Zimmerman as well as you claim to. If I may finish my question. If I may finish my question. Assuming that you know him as well as you claim to, your opening statement to me was that you believe George Zimmerman is so traumatized by killing somebody that he may be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And I asked you on that basis, why should he be in a room full of guns?
Pierce, he has not discharged a weapon. And these women, who I deem to be opportunistic, and part of the PTSD is that he's extremely vulnerable at this point of his life, okay? And, you know, with this untreated PTSD,
he's just been through... The women around him may also argue very strongly that they too are vulnerable around George Zimmerman, who you say has post-traumatic stress disorder, treats guns like toys, and there seems to be a familiar pattern of him threatening these women.
It's a cliche.
Threatening these women with his toys.
Please, listen to my words and I'll listen to you, okay? Yeah, it's just a cliche. He has not violated any codes, okay? Anybody who wants to bear arms can bear as many arms, it's plural, the right to bear arms. It doesn't say right to bear arm, does it? Have you read the Second Amendment? Does it say right to bear arm?
How many?
Meaning that,
yeah, how many? My point was that you said, as his friend, he's suffering from a mental illness, post-traumatic stress disorder.
I
then said to you, if that is the case, why should he have so many guns?
Okay, let's take the event, the life-changing event, the trauma that he has just experienced, okay? He's on his way out to Target, and next thing you know, he's living his life on the run, and he's got quite a few people after him, okay, because they believe that he murdered, as you call it, an unarmed teenager. Okay?
Yeah.
Piers,
that's what he did.
The facts in the case were proven beyond a reasonable doubt, okay? Let's talk facts and evidence here. If you want to talk about the acquittal, which is still very bitter in the minds of a lot of Americans, and you know what? I'm feeling that resentment, but you know what? Get over it, okay? He's been acquitted. The man is now suffering from PTSD, a life-changing event, a trauma that was experienced, and in the DSM-4, which I read earlier tonight, which states that, you know, it takes place in and around 4 months. That's the interval. And also that PTSD is directly correlated with a majority of domestic violence cases. Are you aware of that?
Well, I'm increasingly aware that there must be a correlation between his mental condition and his propensity to threaten women with guns, yes, because that seems to be a pattern with every woman that he comes across.
Piers, if you listen to his call, he said, they asked him, do you have a weapon? He said, yes, but it's in the box and it's locked up. So, you know, Piers, there's your side, their side, and the truth. That's why we have a court of law, and it's called due process.
I don't have a side. I'm not the law enforcement. They're the ones who arrested him and charged him, not me.
His side, and the truth. And the truth will set you free.
OK, well, consider me liberated. Frank Taaffe, thank you very much indeed. We'll be right back with Gloria Allred with her reaction to that extraordinary interview.